Afternoon, America. Brian James Blem here on and welcome you back to another episode of What the Fuck's Up. Just chilling out here at the dry cabin. Oh, God, it was supposed to be cloudy all day, but it is absolutely spectacular, absolutely beautiful. Some fantastic dog sled trails you can go hike around on out here and just have a ball of fun. What I want to talk to you about today, I want to talk to you a little bit about foreign policy. I want to sort of explain why the Europeans, the West Europeans, the Canadians are pissed off at Donald Trump. Why the European Union, the Western Alliance, hates Donald Trump. That's the subject of today's conversation. It relates to why all these lefties are posting all of these memes all over social media about Canada having, getting rid of U.S. whiskey and all of that stuff. Hey, fine, Canada, drink your own damn whiskey, right? Because we got something for you and it's going to cost you one hell of a lot of money. So what's been taking place? Ever since World War II, right? The United States has been what? Has been, I'll do this here in green, the money. The United States has been the money of the Western world. That's right, you hardworking American taxpayers have been the money of the world. My footing's a little unstable down here. If you step in the wrong spot, you'll sink about 4 or 5 feet. But two reasons the West Europeans are pissed off at the United States, especially, folks, people like Justin Trudeau and the elected political leadership in West European parliaments, Canadian Parliament, Australia, all of these countries that are part and parcel of the Western world or the NATO alliance, if you will, right? The first reason, USAID. Well, Donald Trump said, we're going to blast that baby right out of the world. What did USAID, folks? It does more than overthrow governments in poor countries, right? It helps to shape governments in Western political nations. That's right, Germany, France, the UK, Canada, thank you, Justin Trudeau. USAID gives a shit ton of all of our money to these non-governmental organizations that then run campaigns on behalf of these left-wing Western political leaders to help them keep power or to get elected in the first place. And then it also donates money and diverts money to other groups that give it to the campaigns and to the politicians themselves, right? We have stopped their money laundering political campaign scheme so far, folks, using your tax dollars to elect these radical extremists that want war. The second reason, and the most profound reason, folks, the United States of America has for a large part and for a long period of time been the primary funder of organizations like NATO, right? The United Nations. Hell, what did the WHO just say when it was learned the United States was cutting off funding and going to withdraw from the WHO? Oh no, we're broke. Can't afford to do shit. Why not? That's because men and women of the United States of America, you hard-working people, have been footing the bill for all of this silly nonsense for a long period of time, right? And so let's take a look. Let's say you're Canada who doesn't want to buy any more U.S. whiskey because you're protesting. First of all, Canada already has significant tariffs on U.S. products, have forever, for the longest period of time, and we just let them fly under the radar, right? And so no more, not going to happen anymore. But let's take a look. Canada, let's say Canada, because the United States of America pays the largest share for the defense of the Western world. Canada, let's say what percentage of Canada's GDP? These are just guesses, but if Canada, and I'm just using round numbers, if Canada spends 10% of its gross domestic product supporting defense. Let's say they spend another 20% on other, which would include running their government. And so they can spend 80% of their GDP, or whatever, on social welfare spending, right? Well, what happens when the United States says, nah, we ain't going to defend you no more? Defend yourself, right? So let's take a look at it. If Canada is forced to defend itself, right, and has to increase its military spending, let's say they increase it to 25% because the United States spends a shit ton of money defending you damn Canadians. Where does that come from, right? Do they cut the size of their government? Maybe. Maybe they cut this to 15%, right? Where's the rest come from, folks? Boom. Social welfare spending. Canadians, your free healthcare system, right? Your free pharmaceuticals, all of that, down the tubes, right? Because you're going to have to pay for your own spending, right? So they only cut that 5%, but they increased this by 15%. So now, we can only spend 70%. Darn shame, right? Granny's gonna, not be able to go to the hospital, whatever the case may be. But what does that mean for you hard-working men and women in the United States, right? Let's say we no longer spend, 45 to, I'm going to put 50% on our budget to include all this USAID bullshit and all this national security state stuff and all the money that we give to people like, Liz Cheney's family's company, Halliburton, right? Let's say we no longer spend, so we spend 50% of our budget. Let's say we spend 20% of our budget here, and that gives us 30% we can spend here. What happens, folks, America, when we can reduce this significantly? Let's cut that to 20% because we are not paying for the rest of the world. Boom! This can increase. We can do more at home for Americans, for men and women in the United States, rather than doing everything for the rest of the world because we're paying their bills. So Canada, all you lefties out there putting out your little trolls about, tariffs and God, America's going to die because Canadians won't buy our whiskey. Have fun, Canada. Have fun, Western Europe. Good luck, Trudeau, getting reelected without the support of the Central Intelligence Agency and the billions of dollars it pilfers from the United States taxpayer every year. Good luck, lefties in West Germany, lefties in the UK who are currently censoring speech. We don't need friends like you. Right? I was on a podcast the other day and because all these lefties are talking about, oh my God, Europe, the UK has been a friend for so long, right? The UK is now throwing people in jail for violating their people's rights of free speech, right? They will throw you in jail if you say the wrong thing. The UK has just passed sentencing guidelines based on race. If you are a particular race, you're race A, and you're race A, and you got a race B, right? Race A and B commit an identical crime. Race A will go to prison longer because of their race. That is wrong. That is racism. And it is time, America, when West Europe, when Canada, when they become what are tantamount to crackheads, do you continue to hang out with them when they're, robbing jewelry stores, trying to get their next fix? Hell no. You say, peace out, brother. Enjoy your life. And with that, peace.